That's kind of like buying a star. Like you see those things where you buy a star.
Yeah.
Like the star's already.
I own one from I think it was back in the 90s.
The thing has already exploded. Like you buy it.
It's just light.
It's already exploded. You just don't know it's exploded because it's so far away.
Yeah.
How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Shawn and Matt Show. My name is Matt, that is Shawn, and welcome to 2021, our first episode in the new year. Shawn, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, my friend. 2021, it's going to be a good year. I've good feelings about it. I think the market's going to be good. I have a couple predictions that I set out this morning in an email. I'm not going to go into those right now, but I think we're going to have a good market. I think we're going to see a little bit more inventory. Interest rates will stay low.
Predictions is the name of the game. In today's video, we're going to go through 21 real estate predictions for 2021. This article comes from Inman.com, guys. We do these videos. We talk about the articles. Please also just go and read the articles. You know, we don't want to just read the article to you so you don't have to. There's a lot more in-depth information in the article. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through these 21 things, and we will either disagree, agree, or just extrapolate upon the idea or just completely skip it, depending on how much time we have left. So, Shawn, let's start with number one. This is from Brad Inman. He actually wrote the article. Keller Williams will launch a new program to recruit realtors. I'm just going to stop right there. Keller Williams is always going to launch something new to recruit real estate agents. So I completely agree that this is going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's the goal of the game, to recruit realtors for every real estate company. So Keller Williams is good at recruiting. They have kind of I don't want to say cultish mentality, but I mean, people that go there are there for a reason, and to recruit is to grow.
This article is about real estate agents. It's about the real estate market. It's just about the real estate industry as a whole. So I would completely agree that Keller Williams will continue to, as Brad Inman puts it, double down on agent growth. Number two, this one is a little more silly. The International Outer Space Treaty of 1967 will be amended so people can acquire land on the moon and Mars.
Disagree. I mean, I don't know anything about it.
Yeah.
So it's going to be amended so that they can?
So that you can acquire land on the moon and Mars. I think
it's not going to happen.
I think he's just doing a bit.
Yeah.
I think it's just a bit. Maybe you pay it in like Bitcoin or something. I think that's just a silly one. That's kind of like buying a star. Like you see those things where you buy a star.
Yeah.
Like the star's already.
I own one from I think it was back in the 90s.
The thing has already exploded. Like you buy it.
It's just light.
It's already exploded. You just don't know it's exploded because it's so far away.
Yeah.
Number three, interest rates will remain depressed, keeping the housing market hot through the remainder of next year. You just talked about interest rates, so you think they're going to stay low?
I think they're staying low. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be any upward pressure. I think there's too many economic factors that could blow this whole system out. They're going to maintain a low number, I think. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I would agree with that. You know, for the past couple years, like 2015, 2016, people are saying, oh, interest rates, 4%. It's a great time to buy. They're going to go up eventually. And we've just seen them drop and drop and drop to almost record lows. So I think for the most part, they're going to stay around where they're at right now throughout 2021.
Yeah, sub 3% for most conforming loans. I mean, you're in the mid to lower twos in a lot of instances. So I think it's going to stay sub 3. If it reaches 3, it'll be very low 3s and not above that.
Number four, the Zillowization of real estate branding has devalued big franchise brands. Realogy will roll out flexible brands after testing its successful powered by ERA. So this is essentially real estate jargon, real estate broker jargon for saying that brokerages will concentrate on teams, which by and far, I would completely agree with, because a lot of times you see these big team names out there, and frankly, you don't even know like who the brokerage is. You just see the team name, and the team name's doing great, and then the brokerage is kind of an afterthought. And before 10, 20 years ago, people were always like, well, I'm going to list with Century 21, or I'm going to list with XYZ brokerage. Now they're saying, oh, I'm going to list with the Battle Group. Who are they? Oh, there was Century 21. Yeah, but I want to list with Shawn Battle.
That's right. Whether I understand they're going to be flexible is his thing, that they're going to, I guess, branding will be more on the forefront of teams. However, Century 21 just launched a brand new brand. Was it last year or 2 years ago? I think they're going to be strict on, keeping the Century 21 logo centerfold, and then, you can do your team underneath. I don't think there's always going to be branding for teams, right? But we are held to a standard that they just kind of came out with, because before last year, we were allowed to do a lot more, and now they kind of wrangled that thing in where we have to stay with colors, things like that. So I think that at least for Century 21, it's going to stay pretty strong. And yes, though, on the other end, everything is about teams, right?
Yeah, so a little bit of a disagreement there between me and Shawn, but yeah, everything is about teams. Number 5, by the end, this is a big one, by the end of first quarter 2021, Compass will go public via a special purpose acquisition company. Basically, Compass is going to IPO. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't think so. I don't know. I mean, this kind of thing is kind of over my head, but I don't think they're ready to do that.
I think all signs are pointing, without a doubt, for Compass to IPO. I don't think it'll happen this quickly. And I say quickly, I'm not on the Compass board. Maybe everything has already been happening so that they can do this first quarter of 2021. But I would go out on a limb and say they will go public in 2021. If you look at how much money they've raised and the way they've gone about raising it, all signs are pointing to them IPOing. And one of the things that they tout to their potential new agents is the option for, I believe it's known as restricted stock units. So basically, if you sign on with Compass, you have stock options. Maybe a Compass agent can correct me if I'm wrong, but you'll potentially have some sort of stock option. So I think that may be one small piece of the pie that has been convincing agents to join Compass.
Yeah, and if you think about it, I think the stipulation with that is that you had to stay for a certain number of years before that came to fruition. So that is probably coming up, that 5-year period or whatever it was. So maybe you're right about that. I don't know if it's going to be happening this year. I think it's a little quick, but maybe 2022, I could see it happening.
Definitely something to watch in 2021. Number 6, the day-old question, where do I live, will enter a new dimension this coming year. The freedom to work anywhere will dissolve state, regional, and global boundaries as we know them, undoing centuries of rigid home-to-work patterns. This one is quite simply fascinating because I completely agree with it. For so long, people have been tethered to their job, to their home, to their commute, to the area that they live. And if 2020, taught us anything, it's like now that is no longer the case. So now people are expanding their minds, realizing that working from home can mean working from Palm Springs or working from Palm Beach Gardens in Florida or working from anywhere they want in the world. Yeah,
too bad for us realtors. We got to stay put, right? But no, I think this has already happened, right? 2020 is when that actually happened. 2021, I believe that, yeah, it'll continue in certain industries, but I think it's going to start going the other way. Once we start going back into kind of hopefully normal life, I believe that it'll normalize itself. Yes, you're still going to have these businesses that have seen the benefit of this, and they're going to go completely the other way. But then you're going to have all of your, I don't even know what kind of less tech businesses that'll say, all right, we got to start coming back in.
Okay, so going back and then coming back, maybe a correction at some point.
Yeah, I think there's going to be a correction.
Number 7, Florida, Texas, and Nevada will be the biggest beneficiaries of the great geographic reshuffling. I think this is already happening. I think this is exactly true. You're seeing people go from California to Florida or California to Nevada, where that's a slightly, easier move. And then Texas, as we've seen, with Elon Musk.
A lot of people taking that route. And as you say, 2021, yes, it'll continue to happen. But I mean, we've seen the great exodus out of New York to Florida. Florida's just inundated with buyers. There were those stories about they had no more storage units because everybody was going down there and filling the storage units, trying to find places to buy. I was actually looking online the other day to see what was available, and everything that I looked at was pending. There was just so many. I mean, I didn't see many in that my price point, which I dream about, but everything was pending.
It is Florida's time to shine right now. Florida is having a moment.
No pun intended. Right?
There you go.
There you go.
Number 8, one of the richest men in the residential real estate world with an estimated net worth of $1.6 billion, EXP founder Glenn Sanford will announce a new personal initiative, maybe around virtual medical services. I'm not so sure about virtual medical services. What I do know is EXP has literally seen, double,
growth,
exponential almost growth. Their agents will be the first people to tell you how much they love EXP. They've got a lot of top agents from across the country and the world to join their company. Virtual brokerages are all the rage in 2020 and 2021. And, I think with the lack of office space, they have a lot to show for, and especially with their stock price. So I think if the CEO, Sanford, has figured out a system to make EXP worth what it is, I think he can definitely, R&D, copy that or adjust that to make it in the medical service field or another field.
Yeah, I don't know why he chose medical, but naturally, being a billionaire that knows what he's doing, he's going to invest in other avenues. So definitely, I just don't know about the medical field.
Yeah, bet on the jockey, not on the horse. And so if this guy founded EXP, I'm pretty sure he's going to be successful at whatever else he finds. He found it. He will find.
Yeah,
he will find. Number 9, Berkshire Hathaway will do what it did this year: make no hyperbolic announcements, create no drama, execute well, and make money. Berkshire Hathaway is kind of just in the background doing its thing, just whistling down the sidewalk, not doing anything crazy.
I don't ever hear much of them. I don't see many Berkshire Hathaway signs in this area, to be honest. I don't know that I've ever done it. Well, I guess I have, but I don't see their agents as much. Do you?
I don't. Every time I do, they're nice, they're professional, they're great agents. Yep. I'd be curious to know their market share in the DC metro area. But if you were to ask me, hey, what are the big real estate brokerages in your area? I may not even think of them. I may not even come up with their name.
I wouldn't come up with their name.
It's not.
I know of them. They're here, but they're not one of the top, I would say, 7 even.
I don't mean that as a slight. No. If anything, this speaks to it. Dude, they go around, they make money, they're professional.
Under the radar, they're doing business,
execute
they're making
well,
money. That's what matters.
And no one thinks about them. Okay, number 10, Zillow will flirt with moving even further upstream in the transaction. The company will put its toe in the home building market, acquiring or partnering with a modular housing manufacturer. I would say yes to anything that Zillow is trying to do. If Zillow is trying to do something, yes, they will probably do it in 2021. This is one of the most upstart, companies that is disrupting the real estate world. So I would look for big things for Big Z in 2021.
Yeah, unfortunately, you're right. They're probably going to go into the home building. They're going to go into the brokerage asset side of things. They're just going to keep putting their hands in every single thing that they can that is real estate.
Shawn loves Zillow.
Big
Zillow guy.
Big H for the Big Z.
Yeah. Number 11, as public and private debt grows, inflation will raise its ugly head. It will add fever to the housing market as houses offer a cost of living hedge. I am not an economist. I am not privy to inflation rates, so What are
I'm not
your
either,
thoughts?
but I mean, the debt in this country is enormous. And I've talked to a lot of my friends, and one of my friends who I sold his house last year was like, I am completely shorting the market. I think everything's going to fall. So there are definitely those signs that the market could take a turn because of the amount of debt that not only the government has, but the people have. It's ridiculous. And so it can't sustain itself, you would think. And I would think that would put a downturn in everything.
One last note on this is Inman says higher prices for goods and services will put a pinch on consumer budgets and housing affordability will worsen. I would agree with that it's not going to be easier to afford a house in 2021. We can talk about interest rates all day long, but when prices are escalating the way that they are, especially in the DC area, it's not going to become more affordable in 2021.
Yeah, I mean, the prices are going crazy.
Number 12, the godfather of realtor office innovation 47 years ago, RE/MAX, seems primed to do something bold. My guess, it will launch a national virtual brokerage to compete with EXP. I am going to disagree. We don't hear much on the innovation front from RE/MAX. We hear Compass doing some things. We hear, TTR Sotheby's, Washington Fine Properties, Keller Williams. I don't hear much from RE/MAX, and if they were to go all virtual, I see their offices driving down Lee Highway, but I don't necessarily see them making the leap to all virtual.
Well, the one thing about RE/MAX is that it's very like, hey, you're an agent and you go do your thing kind of thing. It's more relaxed than most other brokerages from what I understand. We used to be, actually, when our company started, we had RE/MAX as our broker, as the team. So it was very relaxed and just go do your thing. I know that they do have systems. They have good systems. I know a couple people that work for RE/MAX that like what they have, but I don't put them as a technology kind of brokerage, and I don't agree.
All right, number 13, in a media merger, HousingWire will acquire The Real Deal.
I don't even know.
These are basically two real estate websites. By the way, you got to go to both of these websites. Okay. They're really good. HousingWire and The Real Deal. The Real Deal is almost like borderline like TMZ for real estate. So it kind of skews to clickbaity.
Yeah.
It's very informative, especially it focuses on different markets like New York, Miami, and the such. They also have a paywall up, which is kind of annoying. So you get a couple free articles and then you got to pay.
Yeah.
Definitely check out HousingWire and Real Deal. We're going to fly through this one just because it's a media merger and not that important to our discussion. Number 14, HUD will be pushed to increase penalties for federal fair housing violations. Currently, they stand at $21,000 for the first incident and $53,000 for the next transgression that occurs within 5 years of the first violation. Fair housing violations are terrible. $21,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah.
53, like if you have two fair housing violations, you should just lose your license.
Right.
Like, how do you get two fair housing violations?
Yeah, and get around it and just pay the
and then pay the $50,000, and then you're still in business.
Yeah,
after that.
I don't see them raising the dollar amount for this because it's already pretty crazy. I would say that do it twice and you're done, right? I mean, that's where I would see this going. I think that you screw up once.
There was a terrible story. I say terrible not because it came out, but because it shed light on how prevalent fair housing laws, fair housing violations still are in the Long Island area. I believe this was last year. There were hidden cameras. There were all sorts of terrible things that came out. So fair housing is still a big issue in the real estate world.
Yeah, and that's what's funny is, we live in an area and, we do business a certain way. And I just, in my head, I'm like, does this still exist? But it does in other markets and probably in our market as well.
Unfortunately so. Number 15, coming soon listings will be a relic of the last decade. Transparency, open markets, and full disclosure will win in the end. Remember when the biggest problem we had was coming soon listings? That seems to not matter anymore. Does anyone really care about coming soon anymore?
I would say yes. I'm gonna disagree with this. I think that coming soon listings give us advantage, the only advantage that we have over Zillow. Zillow right now doesn't get coming soon listings, and so how do you differentiate yourself and say, hey, I can give you some listings that are not on the market that are coming soon? That's the way that our system, one advantage that Zillow hasn't taken from our system.
Okay, so now that we know that Zillow is going to pull their IDX feed directly from the MLS and have the exact same properties, how would you respond to that?
Well, if I mean, once they get that IDX feed, are they a brokerage at that point?
They are a brokerage.
Okay, so then we're screwed. Sorry, guys. Are they legitimately now doing? I guess they are doing transactions.
They are.
They said that they would not.
They're going to be a brokerage, but yeah.
How does this all happen?
But like 10 years ago, I would tell you I didn't plan. I'm never going to be a real estate agent, and now I'm a real estate agent. Does that make me a liar? Like things change.
That's true.
Like
yeah,
the biggest thing that you can take away from someone is the ability to change your mind when you have more information.
It's one thing to change your mind. It's another thing to blatantly steal the I wouldn't say steal, but I just disagree with Zillow 100%.
So that's now different. Anything stealing is now different than saying not a brokerage.
Well, I think that, first of all, I'm going to be wrong again any way I put this, right? But I think that because I knew the business before Zillow was there, and the way it was controlled, I think was better for our industry. Now it's worse for our industry. Zillow has totally upended it. But what they did was they got the feed from, how did they get the feed? I don't know. And that's what bugs me, I guess, is they took the feed that we had that we would put for our own websites, right? They weren't a brokerage, but somehow they were able to get the feed that brokerages had, right? And now that they've built the best, shiniest tool out there that no one else can compete with, now they're going to be a brokerage, which I guess is fair, but I mean, it's kind of like the Trojan horse, right? In my opinion.
Yeah, transparency, open markets will win in the end. So the best shiny product will win in the end.
That's right.
Number 16, company acquisitions will rock the industry. Everyone is talking to everyone about every deal imaginable. In the big category, I could see CoStar acquiring Lending Tree, Zillow gobbling up Open Door. More likely are Black Knight, Lone Wolf, and Constellation, who I'm not sure of, buying up more software companies. I would completely agree. I think we have a lot of big dogs in the market, especially in the iBuyer field. So I could definitely see Zillow buying Open Door. And then we saw CoStar recently buy HomeSnap. CoStar usually in the commercial sector. I think we could see them gobble up, as Brad Inman puts it, more
100%
real estate
agree.
companies.
I think this is going to happen over and over again. Definitely.
Number 17, nursing homes will die. That's a strong word to use there. Post-pandemic, the senior housing market will undergo a radical transformation as congregate care goes out of style. Seniors will find alternatives, including staying put, as new technologies facilitate safer and better in-home care. Shawn,
Yeah, I could see that.
you know, I've never heard of a senior that wants to go to a nursing home. You always hear the stories of like, you gotta, take them by, just show them this part, don't show them that part. It's never a good experience. Why is that? Why is that process so terrible? I mean, I completely agree that nursing homes will undergo a reckoning of upendedness, if you will, because no one wants to go to a nursing home, but the demand is there for some sort of care.
There has to be some sort of care. The reason people go there is because their family can't care for them. They decline so much that where are they going to go? In-home services, my mom was actually an in-home service person that used to care for people like that. And she loved her job. There's people that do that kind of thing that want to help people, are really good at it. They love doing it. So I could see the in-home care happening. However, some of these people need 24-hour care. And so there's always going to be a market for that. I don't know how you can get rid of that segment completely. You know?
So to be cliche, how about the Uber of nursing home care? Why not bring the nursing home care to you? Now, the one thing that gets me is the community. So I am not in the nursing home demographic. However, if I was, maybe I would want to, hang out with other people and have some sort of interaction. And I'm not. And what are we gonna have Zoom calls with seniors? Like, I mean, come on, guys. So I think there needs to be something where once a week, couple times a week, maybe even once a day, you get together. I think that's the biggest hiccup for this point. So number 18, insurance premiums will spike because of climate disasters. We're going to skip this one. We don't really have many climate disasters, hurricanes, derechos in the DMV. Number 19, real estate lawsuits will proliferate and some will be resolved with staggering financial settlements. Specifically mentioned DOJ versus NAR. And I just read that a former Compass agent is suing Compass for I believe breach of contract because they were promised certain things in their contract, and now that agent has returned to Remax and is suing for a non because they couldn't fulfill that.
Yeah, I mean, people are sue happy. I think that there's easy ways to get sued. I mean, you see the target is on us. If we do anything wrong, people are going to sue for fair housing or whatever it is in the real estate industry. But it's always been there. I don't know that it's going to increase, but who knows?
People love suing in America. So
sucks.
I would say that you're going to see some big time lawsuits in 2021. Okay, so the last two are pretty basic. Number 20, smart, focused, and hardworking realtors will prosper next year.
I absolutely agree with that. I think that, and in the future, to be the best, you have to show something different. You have to be better at your job than everybody else. How are you going to sustain yourself if Zillow starts taking over? How are you going to differentiate yourself? It's going to be the hardworking, the pushers, the people that are in the market, in the know, the experts.
And number 21 for 2021. 2021 will be boring compared to 2020. No one will complain. Well, if the first 7 days have taught us anything, that 2021 is not going to be boring, and everyone will complain. So obviously a little sarcasm there from Mr. Bradley Inman. Great. That was a 21 predictions. We tried to go through them quickly. Yeah. Pretty solid. I guess I'd have to sign up on your email list to learn about your other predictions.
Yeah, I only did 4, and they were just about our local real estate market. But, I think that I agree with them. Interest rates are going to stay low. I believe that our local single-family market is going to stay tight until about spring. I think we're going to see a flood of inventory because a lot of people held off last year. I believe they're going to start coming in, and we're going to see even more listings where that'll dilute the buyer pool, but it's still going to remain a seller's market. So instead of 15 offers like we saw last year, we might see 1, 2, or 3, right? And then that'll start playing out throughout the year. I think the condo market is going to stay pretty. I mean, there's a lot on the market, right? And I think it's going to stay that way. I think things will start adding up. But as the year goes, the confidence in condos will come back. People will start buying. And like we saw Microsoft coming into Roslyn, this is going to drive people back into the condo market. They're going to realize once people start going back to work, hopefully in a normal sense, to some capacity, these condos will start coming back into the fold.
When is it going to get better for condos?
Not till the end, like towards the fourth quarter, third,
Q4.
fourth quarter. Yeah.
Okay. Cool, guys. Well, there you have it. 21 real estate predictions for 2021. What I'll do is I'll list and link the article in the description below. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to drop them in the comment section below. And for Shawn and myself, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, we'll see you then.
Have a good one.